Welcome to episode 3 of the Kettlebell Corner. No guest today on this segment. We're going to go into a little conversation about the standard and what that means. If you've competed before in any form of competition or fitness, there's a standard. There are rules. There are things you must do in order for things to count or for things to be counted successful. So, and not so much just in a competition setting is the standard important. Think of the standard in a push-up, for example. If you aren't fully extending your arms at the top or getting all the way down at the bottom, you are shortening that range of motion. You are losing on the potential for muscle growth in that full range of motion in that movement. What you're also doing is creating a bad bodily habit. So you're shortening your range of motion. You're not doing full reps. Like I said, you're taking away from muscle growth in that what that movement is for. Because then when it comes to, if you've done that movement incorrectly for so long, that when it comes to having to do a full range of motion push-up, you struggle, and you will not be able to do as many as you think you've previously been able to do. So that's a big thing with the standard. So it's the standard in a competition setting. Yes, it's very important. You have a range of motion that you have to successfully do, a start position, or end position, and things that you have to do in that competition setting to complete the standard of that movement. But it's not solely just in that setting where a standard is important. In other regards too, if you are saying that you are doing a standard, but you aren't, if you're not squatting all the way down, not doing your chin fully up to the bar and pull-ups, just some of those examples of the movement, you are cheating the rep, you're cheating yourself. And potentially in a situation where if you are keeping score, count, comparing to other people, technically cheating. You're saying that you're doing, however many reps of a movement when none of those reps actually count. So it's not even so much just in a competition setting. If I'm going to use the example of a CrossFit affiliate and in a box, in a gym where people are doing a class workout and you are consciously deciding not to do the reps correctly or fully, that is cheating. That's deciding straight up, I'm not doing the reps, but I'm going to count them as if they are. And I know that range of motion for some people are limited by injury, by lack of mobility. And in that case, we need to be able to leave our ego and our pride at the door before we walk in or anywhere to do our workouts and focus more on completing a full range of motion of a movement and working on the weakness, which would be the mobility. So that's important. And we can't always just leave it up to the coaches in these gyms, even though we would love for every box or every gym or every situation for people to hold members and clients or whatever to work on those things to get better and take the bar away or lighten the weight and etc. We would love that, but at the end of the day, like, we are all adults for the most part and can control ourselves and our own decision making. So it's a hard pill to swallow sometimes to be like, you know what, I'm not putting any weight on the bar today. I'm going to do just the bar so I can get a full range of motion so I can work on the weakness. And at the end of the day, standards are more than just fitness. I think the standard, if you have competed in CrossFit or just have heard of CrossFit, and we talk about the standard or functional fitness, we talk about a standard and how things should look and how things should move. That's where our mind just generally goes to. But the standard is more than that. It's, holding yourself to a standard to make sure you wake up on time, you're not late for work, holding yourself to a standard to make sure like you're not eating crap food all the time and not eating a ton of sugar all the time, and setting an example and being a leader for those around you, for your household, for your friends, for your fellow employees, holding yourself to a standard and not just letting being showing up and doing a good job let fall to the wayside. Like that's hard to find nowadays. That's hard to for people just to naturally have to hold themselves to a standard and be accountable and show up and get the work done as hard as they can when nobody's looking and when nobody's watching, or if no one's constantly checking on them, just showing up and doing the work. So that's a standard that is outside of fitness but applies to fitness as well. And it's one of those things. I hope if anyone's watching this, they kind of take something away from this and be like, you know what, I should probably start doing blank a little more so I can get better. And that's anything, nutritionally, exercise, mobility, just, you know, there's some people who show up to work with a minute left before they're late. If you had waken up 3 minutes earlier and done everything the same, you're at work sooner, and you start to hold yourself to a standard of being at work sooner, to being more respectful around the others, and leading by example. We don't have enough of those who lead by example these days, and it all starts with the standard, doing things the right way, the way they should be. And I hope this was informative. Episode 3, the standard. Hope y'all enjoy it. See you again.